Hello, everyone. I am your host, Melee Wizard. 10 years. Holy crap. I've been doing this for 10 years? Uh, if you had told me this like 11 years ago, I would never have believed you. It amazes the heck out of me that I've been maintaining this for this long. I'm not, by my own admission, I am not a social person. Never have been. At least not in my memory. And the fact that I have been able to do this for as long as I have is just nothing short of amazing. And I guess I really just, at the end of the day, I just have all of you to thank, because I would have thought that something about me, my social graces or lack thereof or what have you, would have rubbed enough people the wrong way that eventually I would have been left with nothing. But I have a fan base. Is it the biggest one in the world? No. Did I ever expect it to be? No. But it exists. And it's just wow. It's just wow. Uh, in preparation for this, I ended up doing some digging. And over the last 10 years, I have played 292 games. Admittedly, that is including the games that are currently in progress. Crystal Chronicles, Minish Cap, and Metroid Prime 2. But still, that's averaging 29 games a year. And the fact that a ever-growing percentage of that are blind runs, that's not nothing. And I also kind of broke that down by system. Much to the surprise of nobody, the biggest number on there is ZC Quests at 84. Yeah, that's a lot. Goodness knows there's still more. There will always be more. But beyond that, the top 5 consoles that are represented: NES at 43, Super NES at 40, PC/Steam at 37. That does not count DOS. That's its own category. Game Boy Advance at 20, and the regular Game Boy at 14. Again, Game Boy Color is its own separate category, and nothing else has even double digits. Although GameCube and DS are low on the list, actually at the bottom of the list, mostly because it's only recently that I've been able to do them at all. I also looked up the 5 longest LPs, both Zelda Classic and otherwise, based off of video count. And for ZC, number 5 is 9 Villages at 43. Kind of surprised that was there. Zodiac Story of the Guardian at 61, Isle of Rebirth at 66, Dreams of Yesterday at 77, and Ballad of a Bloodline at 78. For the non-ZC, we've got Final Fantasy VII at 56, Touhou Puppet Play at 61, Final Fantasy VIII at 65, Final Fantasy IX at 73, and Treasure of the Rudras at 76. All RPGs. Shocking. There was another thing that I gave some thought to that is also kind of amazing. Ever since I have done this double project AB format, a video has gone up every single day. If my information is correct, and unless I've missed something somewhere, the last day that went by without a video from me was March 14th, 2013. That is 8+ years of a video, at least one video every day. That's consistency. And so I guess I have let nothing stop me from getting videos out, and having a buffer helps in that regard. So for those who don't know, I try to maintain a 10-day buffer, 5 videos for each project, just in case life gets in the way, whether it's work or a hurricane or whatever else. And because of that, there has never been a time where a day went by without some sort of content. The closest I ever came to actually having my buffer run out completely was back in 2015. Uh, Basically, the story behind that is I had gone to the anime convention that I would frequent during Memorial Day weekend. And in preparation for that, I kind of worked ahead of schedule so that I wouldn't be behind when I got back. So I went out, did my anime convention thing, came back, and my computer wouldn't turn on. After a brief moment of panic, I figured out that my hard drive was shot. So I kind of had to scramble at the last moment to get a new computer, but basically get my recording set up back in place, get my including my emulators and such. And the game that I was doing at the time was Metroid Zero Mission. But that by itself wouldn't amount to much, except I was doing hard mode. And to unlock hard mode, you have to have beaten the game on normal. So, not only did I have to get a new computer, all that stuff that I had said, I had to beat Metroid Zero Mission on normal to unlock hard mode and then work my way back up to where I was. And I was able to do all that just in time to actually start recording again so that none would be the wiser, except I did mention it on the first video back. And that ended up kind of having a silver lining because my memory of the zero suit portion of things was kind of sketchy. So having, I guess, kind of sort of practicing that on normal ended up being a boon doing it on hard. So I kind of knew where I was going at that point. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I actually dodged a serious bullet in that moment. Because when I was working ahead, I actually finished the Zelda Classic Quest that I was doing at the time, which I believe was where was it again? It was, dang it, where was it again? Wait, was it 2015? Ah, never mind. Never mind what I said. It was 2014. And the Zelda Classic Quest that I was doing at the time was Islands of Death. And so, in preparation for the convention trip, in working ahead, I ended up finishing that quest, and which ended up being a good thing because that quest was using version 2.10. And in the new computer I got, and the current computer I have now, 2.10 just straight up doesn't work. And I basically ever since I I have been burned enough trying to do 2.10 quests on other versions that I've pretty much been avoiding them ever since. Other people have assured me that 2.10 quests work on newer versions, but I have been burned enough, even somewhat recently, that someone would have to prove that they can beat it in order for it to me even consider it. But and even then, there would just be that nagging thought in my head that what if this breaks? What if this breaks? What if this breaks? So at least for the time being, 2.10 version quests just aren't going to happen. So that is what it is. Anyway, back to the whole 10 years. My my introduction to to Let's Plays in general is someone that goes by the name of Proton John. The video in question, those who know Proton John, you know which video that was. But for those who don't, there's a project that he did way back in the day called Kaizo Mario World. Kaizo being just the general term for really, really hard stuff. And yep, there's one particular video he did that basically has about a dozen memes associated with it, and goodness knows it. Hardly a day goes by where somebody doesn't bring it up with him, and I'm pretty sure he's sick of it. Please don't make it worse. Uh, but yeah, that was like the first LP video I ever saw, and it drew me in. I ended up watching that project as a whole. Him that involved both him and I believe there was Psychedelic Eyeball, and I think another one by the name of Wugga was involved in that project as well. And that was kind of my gateway to Let's Plays in general. That led to me finding other people like Psychedelic Eyeball, uh, Deceased Crab, or yeah, Deceased Crab. I keep thinking it's either deceased or disease, but it's deceased. And the big one, the one that I have largely stuck to ever since, even to this day, in Raocow. And Raocow is probably the was the biggest inspiration to me actually doing entering this realm of things myself. And for I ended up contemplating this for a good while because this was I was scared. I'm going to say this straight up. I was scared to put myself out there like this because I was afraid that the moment I would go out and do this, I would be ridiculed. I would be shamed. I don't know. Like I was afraid I was going to be picked apart just from day one. But I guess that would assume that people knew I existed, which yeah, that's assuming a lot. And in the early thoughts of me doing Let's Plays, my original thought was basically doing things the same way Raocow does by just be it by playing video games and just saying weird, goofy things. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it wouldn't really work. I mean, there have been times where I would just at home, I would start going into weird voices and such, or weird, or just different accents, which it's not really something I have that much control over. It's just something that happens. And even in preparation for this, like this video here, I was thinking about demonstrating it, but it just ain't there. It's not something that I can just do on command, I guess. I guess technically I could, but it's not something that just comes naturally when I have the camera on, figuratively and literally in this case. And as such, the more I thought about it back in the day, back in 2011, the more I came to realize that I would not be able to do the same thing Raocow does. Because me trying to do the weird, silly, non sequitur things it would just come off as awkward and forced, and I would just never be able. I would be just a straight up Raocow clone, and it just wouldn't be me, I guess. And I guess I don't know if I'm pretty sure I didn't coin the term, but basically I came up with the idea of just doing it what I have thought of as stream of consciousness. Just in brain, out mouth, what filter. And that's pretty much what I've done since day one. And it's the way I'm doing things now. And if people like it, enough people have liked it that they're still that as mentioned, I have a consistent fan base. So I guess I must be doing something right. And yeah, that is this is me. Warts and all. But technically today isn't the anniversary. The actual anniversary is on July 22nd. Which begs the question why this video is going up today. That is because I have an event planned for the 22nd on Twitch. And that is a marathon stream. And the plan for that is something that is called the BizHawk Shuffler. BizHawk being the name of a particular emulator that can do practically everything, every system under the sun. Not all of them, but enough that it might as well be. And I'm just going to go ahead and switch scenes over. Basically, what this involves is I'll have a bunch of games in a folder, and basically it's gonna switch from one game to another. So yeah, I'm gonna have 10 games on this list. These games you're seeing here are not part of that. I'm just have this here to demonstrate the process. And yeah, wrong button. So like I said, there's going to be 10 games here. And the current time frame I have in mind is 3 to 6 minutes. So at any point in that time frame, it's going to switch from one game to another. I will not know when it happens, and I will not know which game it is switching to. So yeah, I'm going to have to kind of react to whatever happens. And I do plan on beating all 10 games in however long it takes. In fitting the theme, 10 years, 10 games, it will be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern, which would be 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, and I believe it would be 2 p.m. UTC. So it would be UTC -4 for international people who pay attention to such things. So yeah, how long will it take? I don't know. But if anything, I'll be keeping the stat. You see the timers there, so you can see how long the whole thing has been going, which game is active, and how long that particular game had been going over the course of things. So it's definitely going to be a nice bit of chaotic mess, which my marathon streams tend to be. I'm not going to say which games are on the list. You'll have to see what they are when the time comes. And there is one other thing I want to say. I'm just going to clear that out. This is not something I normally do. But if I don't do this now, when am I ever going to? If you have been watching my streams or the videos of said streams on YouTube, you've seen the little slideshow down here. It has various bits of information. One of the things that's on there is the subscription incentive. That is basically a new emote slot. Because being an affiliate, I don't have that many slots for emotes. I think I have like one for tier 1, one for tier 2, one for tier 3, and it requires a certain number of sub points in order to unlock the next one. So the next emote slot that will be available will be at 15 sub points. And honestly, I have never even come close to it. I know I don't normally, go in this direction because I respect people's free will. And I've been under the mindset of if you're going to follow, if you're going to subscribe, you do it because you want to, as opposed to me telling you to do it. Because that's how my brain works. But at least in this case, I'm at least going to put this out there. If enough people subscribe during the marathon to put me up to that 15 mark to get that emote slot unlocked, that would be awesome. It does. I don't even have to maintain 15 subscribers or their equivalent. It just has to hit that point the one time to get that emote slot unlocked. Because once it's unlocked, it's there for permanently. And with the emote in question being the obligatory GG emote for that every every video game streamer under the sun has. GG, standing for a good game, and is usually just your average celebratory, "Hey, I beat this thing" kind of thing. So yeah, they don't all have to be tier 1. Because if a tier 2 subscription counts as 2 sub points, a tier 3 would be 3, though I don't expect anyone to do that considering, I don't have a tier 3 emote and I don't even know what I would even do for that. But yeah, if enough people subscribe during this marathon to put me over that mark, that would be enough for me. It's not even about the money, really. It's more just about it'll feel like I've achieved something, to hit that mark. And you don't even need to buy it for yourself. If you want to just buy it, you can always gift a sub to somebody else or to just some random person. So, do you have to do it? No. I say it's not about the money. This was never about the money. I've been doing this for 10 years now. As of this moment, I have uploaded 4,105 videos onto YouTube, and I have not monetized a single one. I didn't plan. I wasn't doing it then. I don't plan to now because this is not a job. This is a hobby. Always has been. Always will be. And the pennies I get for ad revenue on Twitch is just that's all it is. It's pennies. That is not what pays my bills, and it probably never will. But like I said, this was never about the money. This is all about me playing video games for the masses. And goodness knows, one of the biggest things that finally got me to start doing this was realizing something about myself. That my attention span regarding video games had atrophied to the point where it was becoming more often that I would start a game, then just move on to something else and forget about the original one. And it was happening with startling regularity. And at some point, the thought entered my head of what better way to actually finish these games than to record myself doing it and uploading it to YouTube. 10 years and 292 games later, I think it's worked. And I knew from the moment I actually started uploading these things that I would not be one of those people that would have like 5 projects going on and not finish any of them. I knew that if I was doing this, I was committing myself to it. If I started a project, I was finishing it. And I have lived up to that. The closest thing I have come to leaving leaving a project short, I think, was Isle of Rebirth. But even that's a bonus boss. Ooh, it's like I'm not really concerned about beating a bonus boss at this point. Goodness knows that save file is probably long gone by now anyway. But yeah, I have beaten every game that's come my way, and I plan on doing that continuing that in the future. Yeah. So here's to 10 years, and here's to 10 more. So until next time, this is Melee Wizard, and have a nice day.